All right, so it's your boy Codehova, Fly Combinator. We're doing iOS Hustla. All right, we're gonna start off with what we have in week 1. We might not go in order because I don't know what the fuck they would be talking about in this first using documentation as like a starting video. So I'm gonna be jumping around where I think that it needs to be set. All right, so let's do this first one called place views on the screen and update their properties. Okay, so again, when we do iOS development, we need to have the program Xcode. You might have downloaded it if you were taking my previous course, Pimpin' Swift. That's definitely on my YouTube. You should go check it out because it's really going to help you get started in iOS Hustla. Okay, so we have this here. So what we're going to do is create a new Xcode project. And once we do that, it's going to open up the screen where you have all these pretty ass options. All you need to worry about is this one right here. In my 3.5 years in the game, I've never touched this shit. I've done something with this, but yeah, I have never done with anything over here. So all you need, always, you don't need to worry about watchOS, tvOS, macOS. That you don't need to worry about this. All I know is in iOS is where you make the money. I've never worked on a watch app. I've never worked on tvOS. I don't know who the fuck would develop on tvOS. That shit ain't popping. macOS, I don't know. That's to me is anyone who wants to make apps for the computer. If they're not doing it in like JavaScript, they're just wasting their time. So let's just stick with the real. Let's create a new single page app. And the product name, I'm just going to say that it's 0102 to match the project name. Match the video name, I mean. Alright, so this one is going to be what we're doing again. Views on the screen. Alright, we're going to call this views on the screen. Definitely what you should do is follow along with me. You might want to watch the video and then try it yourself. And if you hit a snag, you're going to watch the video again to see exactly what it did. So I'm just going to call this product name views on the screen. Okay. You're just going to have your organization name, your organization identifier. This shit really isn't that important while you're learning, right? So don't worry about that. And we don't need to use core data at all. We're not going to do any unit tests. We're not going to do any UI tests. We're just going to develop and learn Xcode, how to do iOS programming. So let's just keep on moving. Okay. And I have a messy ass screen. So I'm just gonna place it in this folder, iOS Hustla. You could put it wherever you know it needs to be on your computer. All right. So, and another thing is at this time we do not need Git repositories. Seems like we're gonna get into that in a future video, future week. I don't know. So let's just create it and let it do what it do. So this is the screen that we have, and we're not going to really have to worry about any of this just yet. What you're going to want to do is let's just open up the iPhone 8 and just run this shit. And when it runs, you're going to have to wait till it opens up the simulator, and you're just going to have a white screen app. All right, so now we have the app. It finished building on the simulator. We could press home and go back and forth. All right, so that's the app that we have on hand, 0102 views. So that's our current project. All right, and this video is about views on screen. So what are we doing? So let me just give you an overview of this Xcode screen. So this is your project. And when you open your project, it's going to have folders and all your files in there. So what we have is the app delegate. I'm not sure if you need to worry about it just yet. But we have something called a view controller. This is pretty much the code behind this screen right here. And if you see the main storyboard, what we have is the visuals of how this screen looks. You see that this arrow right here, it's saying that this is the initial view controller. This is for this storyboard, the main screen, not the main screen, but it's where the app is going to start at. Okay, and if we look into this project, general project file, we're going to see that the main interface is going to be the main, and this is tied to that, the main storyboard. And because the main storyboard is the first interface that this app is going to display, this file is the initial view controller. So this is the one that's going to be shown. Okay. So what can we do with this view controller on this storyboard? So we could go to this view and we could change this to black. And once we do that, if we press run, when you also press run, right, it might say, do you want to build again while this shit is already, it's already built? Just click on don't ask me this shit no more. And just run whenever I say so, bitch. So that's how it goes. So here we had this view. This main view in this view controller, we just changed it to black. So this video is about how to place views in a view controller. So this is your UI kit. All these things are part of Apple's framework of all this cool shit that you could do. There's everything. So let's just go at it. All right. It's like a storyboard reference. It's a little too deep for this initial video, but we have a navigation controller. We have a table view controller. A lot of apps that you use, you know, like your mail and messages app, that's a table view. It's like a scrolling list, right? So let's just go talk about shit we could add. So the view, this is one of the most important views, and this is the label. It implements a read-only text view. A label can contain an arbitrary amount of text, but UI label may shrink, wrap, or truncate the text, depending on the size of the bounding rectangle and properties you set. You can control the font, text, color, alignment, highlighting, and shadowing of the text in the label. So this is a view. All of these things, almost everything under here is a UI view. That's the base class. And these are just subclasses of the UI view. But the label is a type of object that you place onto your view that can contain text information. So let's just change this. See, right now our background is black. So this text color is black as well. So that's why we can't see. It says, fuck you, right? We can't see fuck you. So what we got to do is we got to change the color to white. Boom. And let's run this bitch. So we got a black launch screen. We got this fuck you. And luckily, this shit is looking exactly like we said it here. But I think once we put in more views, it's going to look real messed up. All right. So let's create another view. Let's just create another view, which is going to be another box inside. And this box is white. So let me just put it in the center on the screen like that. And let's see what happens. So this too, man, it looks almost perfect. Xcode is being good to me. But right now, there is nothing that's saying that, yo, I want this to be like 50 points down from the top. I want it a little off-centered. There's no logic behind that. So maybe if I create another simulator, it will start to show that it doesn't look as good. So I'm just going to let that run, but let's just continue talking about the different views that we could have. So we have the switch, you know, these are all views. The activity indicator view, that is also a view. And we have the stack views, which is something I'll definitely talk about in a future video. We got table view cells, and we got images. All right. Images are definitely cool. So let's see. All right. It's loading. All right. So this, you see, it's not as perfect. So we have this. They look a little different. Like this one's kind of in the center and this one's off center. So let's try. All right. So we got the iPhone SE right here and we got the iPhone 8. I don't know if this video is just going to talk about views, but as you see, it's different. So how can we control that? Let me see. So let me just, my bad, yo. My mind is a bullet train right now. So let me just chill a little bit. So we have no images that we could put in here. So how can we add images to our iPhone app. What you got to do is you got to push it in the assets folder. So if I go here, that's not what we want. Let's see in my downloads folder if I have some kind of image. All right, we do. We got fly. Cool. What's the error? This image set fly references fly JPG, but does not have a valid extension. That's just Xcode tripping. You don't need to worry about that. So we got this image view. Got fly. Boom. And let's run it on the iPhone SE. See, this is why we need constraints, because as you can see here, this fly, it doesn't even show. Let's see if it'll show on the iPhone 8. Alright, so this one, it does show. But this is why we need constraints. We're going to go through that in a different video, because right now we're just showing views. And as you see, this doesn't look as good. This image of fly looks a little stretched out. So what do we do? You got to go into the views content mode, because right now it's scaled to fill. This on the storyboard, we don't even know how large this image view is. So Xcode is doing its best to estimate on what we're looking at, and it's thinking, because we didn't give it constraints, it's guessing. It's guessing how big this should be. But we wanted to make sure that this image looks as good as it does, like that, to make it look like a perfect square. So what do? There's something called aspect fit. And boom, when you do aspect fit, it's going to reconfigure the way that the image looks. As you see, there's black lines to the left and right, because this is the exact image, unaltered. So if we play that, if we run it, we have the image looking just as it should. And that's what we want when we say aspect fit. If we say aspect fill, it's going to grow the image, right, to fill the bounds of this view. But we also see that it goes over the bounds. So let's just run it. And then boom, we see that it's pretty damn large. It is the perfect square of the actual image, but our bounds, right, it's being cut off. So what do we do in that case if we want to make sure that it stays within this blue outline? What we're going to do is say clip to bounds. And if we run that, there you go. The view, it's aspect filling, but it's also staying within the bounds of that UI view. All this stuff that I did of making it clip to bounds, hiding it, if I hide it and I run it. So all the things that I did is things that you could do to any UI view. You always have this ability to hide it, show it, clip it to its bounds, auto resize the subviews, like if there are views within a view. So, you know, there's buttons. Buttons are definitely something, right? So I'm going to change this background to white. And if I run that, see, we got a button. This is when users tap it, you can make it do something. But right now, we just put the view of a button on the screen, so when I'm pressing it, it's not going to do anything. Okay? So I think I'm going to end this video off 0102 views on the screen right here. And on the next video, let's make sure that this shit looks exactly how we set it to be on whatever screen that we may be using. All right? It's your boy, Codehova, iOS Hustler. Let's get it.